Welcome to Snake Eyes, a movie about a vengeful kid that grew up and became a vengeful man, that vengefully beats up bigger men while being scouted by a talent scout of a prominent yakuza clan. Hell yeah. Sounds fun? Well, that's because it is, okay? Welcome to Bingexpress. I hope you loved the show today. And, as always, it may just be a click for you, but a like and a comment supports our work more than you think. Thank you. 20 years ago, our protagonist went to camp with his dad. Despite the idyllic environment, the father couldn't really drop the urban stress and couldn't shake off his paranoia. And rest assured, once the night hits, something bad is about to happen. They must escape ASAP, even though the boy has no clue what is going on. That's great parenting. The father tells his son to stay put as he turns around, draws a gun, opens the door, and well, is tagged like a laser tag victim. Now here's the deal, okay? If you are for some reason chased by gangsters that want to murder you, perhaps going camping somewhere in the woods with your 11-year-old child is not the smartest idea. I am not an expert, but I think it would be better to stay among as many people as possible instead. The silver lining of being on a hit list is, it's a very good reason to send your unwanted child abroad while you go back to enjoy the good old bachelor's life. Anyway, his guns are taken away, and for some odd reason the Russian gangsters, because it's always Russians for some reason, pressures the father into rolling a pair of dice. The rules of the game are not explained, because I guess they are not important. However, if he loses the game, he will be killed. Go figure. The father rolls the pair and hits 2 ones, also called Snake Eyes. As our father is about to get shot, his son intervenes, successfully interrupts the incident but is pushed away. As he runs away and hides in the trees, the father is clipped. And just like every other kid that has witnessed his parents be killed in front of him, yes, I'm looking at you, Oren Ishii, our protagonist in the future becomes a psychopathic underground fighter beating the crap out of other people. In one of his recent fights, he is spotted by Tenka Takamura, a yakuza mob boss that hires him to join the family. Even though he first declines, he eventually agrees, because Mr. Takamura promises to deliver his father's killers. And so Snake Eyes, that's the nickname of our character now, accepts and joins the yakuza. Now, I don't think I need to explain why that is a bad idea. I mean, I like my fingers and my girlfriend does too, so joining the yakuza would be a bad idea just for that reason alone, right? Although the katanas are a serious contender of why it might be a good idea to join. I'm not sure yet. What about you? Upon enrolling into the family, one of the jobs he has to do is stuffing tunas with Lil Uzis and then ship them to Tokyo. He does that pretty much all day every day until one day, after weeks have passed, a problem arrives. One of the members of this family is a snitch, but it isn't Takeshi, okay? Although I'm sure one of these people bears that name too. However, being the newbie of the group, of course Snake Eyes feels like he is the one being framed, but it comes completely different. The snitch is Tommy, Snake Eyes' best friend. He is put on his knees, a gun is given to Snake Eyes, and he is pressured to kill him to prove his loyalty. If that's me, I would shoot the full load, okay? I am not messing with the yakuza. If you signed up for this, you better go about it full speed, alright? But our character doesn't. He teams up with Tommy instead and starts fighting off the crazy 88 yakuza members surrounding them. The fight is pretty messy, but our characters can make it out and flee in a giant truck. However, Snake Eyes is stabbed by a katana and passes out. He wakes up again, on a private plane, by the way, and is surprised by a shaved Tommy, who looks much better than before. It is revealed that Tommy is a direct descendant of the Arashikage Clan, an ancient and powerful ninja clan that operates behind the scenes. It is revealed that Kenta, the yakuza boss from before, is Tommy's cousin, and was, together with him, next in line to become the head of the clan. But Tommy was chosen instead. And of course, Kenta then tried to murder Tommy and was thus banished from their land. Ever since then, his goal is to seize power and regain his position as the head of the Arashikage and inherit the secrets that come with this position. So basically, it's a classic story of rich crybaby acting tough and opts for revenge. Hell yeah. Once we arrive in Japan, we are driven to the Arashikage Castle, where our character is presented to the current head of the clan. To his surprise, Tommy wants him to become an ally of the clan. As an outsider, this is practically impossible, but since he has saved Tommy's life, he is offered the honor. However, before that can happen though, he has to prove his worth and complete the 3 challenges of the warrior. A 3-step trial which will decide if he is allowed to join or not. The trials are composed to test an applicant's ego, anger, and fear. I would lose in all of them, hands down, that's for sure. But let us have a look what happens. So for the first challenge, the headmaster fills up 2 bowls. Each respective challenger has to hold 1 bowl while fighting. The goal is either to steal the bowl of your opponent or make your opponent spill some water. Whoever spills water first loses. Snake Eyes is 4 tries. As the game begins, he charges forward, tries to grab his opponent's bowl, and is beaten instantly. The next 2 tries end up similarly. He holds up better, but each time his bowl is either snatched or water is spilled. However, when he fills up his cup a 4th and last time, he remembers what Tommy said, to abandon his ego. That's when he realized fighting to get the bowl is impossible. The right way to win this test is with humility. He therefore turns around, slowly walks over to his opponent, and offers an exchange of bowls as a gesture of friendship and humbleness. He passes the first challenge. Look, there is no way I would have figured that out. I would have easily spilled my bowl 4 times without realizing the trick behind this challenge. But I must admit, this was a nice twist. Good one on the scriptwriters. Let's see if we can figure out the next trick before the big secret is revealed. During the evening, though, his success is celebrated. Everyone is pleased apart from Akiko, a high-ranking servant who remains skeptic. After dinner, our character leaves the castle and drives into Tokyo. There, he enters the bathhouse and secretly meets up with Kenta. It is revealed that everything so far was staged. The moment when Tommy was about to get killed and Snake Eyes received the gun to do so was all a means to infiltrate the Arashikage with Snake Eyes. However, at this point, Snake Eyes is full of doubts and tells Kenta that he doesn't want to continue. That's kind of weird. I mean, what did you expect taking orders from murderers, rapists, and human traffickers? Hello? However, before he can leave, Kenta opens his palm and reveals the 2 dices that belong to the killer of his father. It spurs up more anger within Snake Eyes and has him on a tight leash again. The new job is to steal the Jewel of the Sun, a secret and powerful artifact hidden inside the dungeons of the Arashikage Castle. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I want one, okay? Sounds like a big help in evolving my Pokemons. Anyway, if he brings him the jewel, Kenta says that he will deliver his father's killers. Snake Eyes accepts. This whole thing seems like a perpetual do this and I will give you what you want, okay, and now do this and then I will get you what you want, etc. It's just, it's such an obvious trap. It makes me, I don't know, it makes me have a job, so thank you. I mean, if I was him, and I am with an extremely powerful Arashikage Clan, I would easily consult with them and get what I want without snitching, stealing, and becoming a more terrible person by the minute. But it just seems like he doesn't use the resources that he has at hand, and I think that's the big problem most people actually have. Anyway, the next day, he sneakily inquires about the Jewel of the Sun, and is told by Tommy himself that only the head of the clan, the headmasters, as well as him have access to the shrine where the jewel sits. Apparently, a well-secured DNA log prevents anyone else from trespassing. Look, if you ever end up in this situation, you don't want to share your personal information about a mystical family jewel with dudes you know for a few weeks only. That's like sharing your seed phrase and then wonder why your assets have been sent away. Duh. During the following days, Snake Eyes is almost exposed by Akiko, who challenges him to a duel. And in 2021, of course, he stands no chance against her. Okay? However, before they can finish business, they are interrupted by Tommy. They have a new lead on Kenta, who plans a new shipment to Tokyo. Once they arrive there, everything goes pretty quickly. Akiko beats up a couple of men, Snake Eyes secures the shipment, and Tommy is facing off Kenta in an epic showdown on the rooftop. Okay, it isn't that epic, but I like the Mortal Kombat style of the scene, it's pretty sweet. While they're busy fighting without any cool finishing moves though, Akiko comes for help. But before she can interfere and rescue Tommy, Snake Eyes cuts down an electric line, denying her access, which saves Kenta in return. He then escapes and Tommy does what every other man would do. He savagely drums the floor with his fists. On the inside of the shipment boxes, they find a Cobra sign, indicating that Kenta's gang operates under the umbrella of the internationally known crime syndicate Cobra. Knowing that that means trouble, Akiko decides to call a random badass woman and a close ally of the clan. She, while single-handedly beating up 4 heavily armed men, because it's 2021, communicates all relevant information to help our characters. Thank you. While she goes on about all the bad shit Cobra is doing in the world, Snake Eyes is visibly worried. He starts doubting his affiliation with Kenta, who is part of Cobra. However, his desire to find his father's killers still prevails at this point. But because of his doubts, he decides to confront Kenta at his underground hideout. But before he can make his point, he is interrupted by yet another, although now psychopathic woman that is also a badass. Before he can make his point about why all of their doings are wrong and why he wants to leave because he had a sudden change of heart, she pulls out a photo of his father's killer. This is enough to change Snake Eyes' opinion. So, as long as he hands over the Jewel of the Sun, he will be getting his revenge. However, before any of that can take place, Challenge 2 has to happen first. The challenge is, I guess, facing the truth. So, as he follows the light, he is instantly transferred back to the night when his father was murdered, resulting in him being murdered as well, twice to be exact. He also gets to meet his dad, who looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson without a stable source of protein. Now, this challenge is obviously all about acknowledging your fears and understand where they come from, and therefore be able to confront them heads on and solve them deeply rooted traumas that still cause you pain to this day, right? I mean, the fact that he let himself be controlled by anger and rushed forward to get his revenge in the scene before was actually the key for him to realize his problem, right? But since he has Snake Eyes, he doesn't figure it out, obviously. You see, Challenge 2 is connected with Challenge 3. And since he has realized the takeaway from this one, the next one will not end up well either. But let's have a look first. So for the third challenge, he has to enter a hole in the ground, step on an Indiana Jones type of tile, and then see what happens. At least that's what the headmasters say. And because the scriptwriters like irony, apparently, he is surprised by 3 giant anacondas that look like they escaped the Harry Potter franchise. What do you do when you are facing 3 monster anacondas that will attack anyone with impure hearts? Well, I guess you show them a picture of Jesus, right? Look, that's the best I could come up with, okay? I'm not even religious, but that's what I would do. On a serious note though, snakes are typically visually impaired. Therefore, creating auditory illusions by throwing objects into distant corners would be one of the best strategies to go with. Fighting 3 monsters at once is also not a smart idea. So chopping one basilisk at a time is what I would do. We got a pretty nice katana, right? That should do the job pretty well. You see, if you have a hard time coming up with the motivation to do that, think about the feast that awaits you afterwards. Snake meat tastes like chicken. Seriously, okay? I'm not joking right now. So just picture 3 giant chickens in front of you. Boom. Problem solved. The obvious mistake our characters has made was not realizing the gist of Challenge 2. Ignoring the tips even given by the headmaster and disregarded everything that Akiko has said the evening before. Didn't show you this scene, but basically she was also giving him all sorts of tips how to overcome Challenge 2. If he overcame his anger, this challenge could have been easy to solve. Akiko then even has to intervene to save him, causing him to survive but unfortunately be disqualified. When he is confronted of why he failed, he tells him the whole truth. How he plotted against them, how he infiltrated the clan to look for weak spots, and how he faked practically everything he has shared with them. Now mind you, our little Snake Eyes does not tell them anything about stealing the Jewel of the Sun. Sneaky SOB, or should I say snaky. As he is banished, he meets Tommy one last time. He apologizes for everything and makes sure to let him know that his brotherly feelings for him were true all along. He then draws his sword, slides his hand over it, and offers a blood brotherhood. Tommy accepts and slides his over as well. Then the 2 friends depart. Now here's the catch, this actually had me by surprise. So Snake Eyes fakes his farewell, finally dresses up with his newly unlocked level 50 ninja suit and goes for the last part of his devious plan. He climbs the rooftops, scouts the surrounding, triggers the alarm system on purpose, and has the whole area leave to check on the Jewel of the Sun. Now, I don't know why you would keep your most important artifact somewhere in the woods nearby without any security, but, you know, it's just my opinion. But now, Snake Eyes knows exactly where the jewel is located. He waits until everyone is left, sneaks in, and then, surprise surprise, uses Tommy's blood on his cloth to greenlight the DNA lock. Boom. Well played, sir. I didn't think much of you, but this was a sick move.
I will return the jewel.
So he finally meets up with Kenta and passes along the jewel, and before he finally gets what he wants, we get a small sneak peek of the power of the jewel. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a fair trade. I think that was a bad idea. Anyway, now that this is out of the way, Snake Eyes can finally meet the Russian dude that killed his dad. And as he finally meets him, he reveals that he has killed his father for no other reason than to fulfill the orders from Cobra, the same syndicate that Kenta's gang and therefore Snake Eyes work for. This blows him away as he realizes that he was on the wrong side all along. Now, obviously, this was pretty obvious all along. No, the signs were pretty clear. Nevertheless, our boy is taken by surprise and does what we expected him to do. He frees the G and declines the use of violence. He then turns around and says, "I have to stop Kenta." Okay, let's go. Hell yeah, let's go. Next time, perhaps make a decision before you hand over a deadly magical stone that turns people into ashes within seconds. But, you know, just an opinion. As he leaves on his e-bike, he is chased by Akiko and Tommy, who have caught up. At this point, we get a pretty nice scene that was absolutely inspired by Final Fantasy VII, as they beat the crap out of each other while driving on cool motorcycles. Yes sir. Now this is a lengthy scene where the good guys beat the bad guys until Tommy and Snake Eyes, that was a nice rhyme, come together for a showdown on a racing truck, while Kenta is busy making his way to the Arashikage Castle to finally seize the power. As we cut back to Snake Eyes and Tommy though, who just like Yin and Yang are dressed in black and white that I would dead sure buy for my FF14 character if I could, Snake Eyes proposes to temporarily team up until this whole mess is cleaned up. Sure, sounds like a good plan, took you a while though. Tommy agrees. Now back at the Arashikage Castle, things are heating up. The headmasters all have teamed up and are actively trying to keep the casualties limited. Even that random woman from before that actually turned out to be not random at all, her name is Scarlet, joins the team and the full squad is united. Meanwhile, Kenta is chasing the head of the clan and looks like a ninja overlord from the future. As he is teasing her with his new rock that can spark flames, Tommy and Snake Eyes are about to arrive. But before they can join the fun, the clan is almost completely destroyed. Kenta has seemingly won the fight and has all of our people hostage. He even decides to snitch on this woman right here, causing her to switch sides. Yep, that's right, the women unite and win the battle. At least against Kenta's soldier. As the three ladies transform into colorless Power Rangers and clear the space, Tommy and Kenta arrive. Then the whole squad is reunited. And then there is more fighting. Grandma shows off what old age means in Japan, not much. And there is really not much more happening in this movie. But let me break down the end for you because there is still a twist at the very end. And if you've made it this far, you probably want to know how this movie ends. So, Tommy grabs the stone, abuses his power the minute he gets it, proving that he is not better than any other bad guy in this movie, and gets humbled by Granny straight away. Yeah. At the same time, Snake Eyes is facing off Kenta back in the woods. Now, it isn't really a close match. I mean, our character literally walks into the sword and almost dies, which shows just how bad his eyes must be. Now, I am not sure if that was actually intended by the writers to make a constant joke about his name and his bad eyes, but it's hard to believe it wasn't, because I think it's hilarious. Anyway, he turns the table by using a chain to tuck Kenta into the snake-infested pit. Maybe let me just mention though that jumping in too was completely unnecessary. He could have easily circumvented the hole and tucked Kenta in without sacrificing himself. But then of course we wouldn't have the following scene, where Kenta gets gobbled up while Snake Eyes is spared, because yes, his heart is now pure. As Kenta is now gone, all gather once again, and Tommy is banished from his position as the new head of the clan, because he clearly has some issues. And then Snake Eyes is invited by Scarlet to join the Joes, because his father used to be one as well before he died. Could not have been a pretty strong one, because he lost a fight against some regular low-tier Cobra gangster. But what do I know? Just Just an opinion. With that said though, I hope you loved the show today. Leave me a comment if you have anything to share, and I'll see you again soon. Take care of yourselves.